to give the students the opportunity to develop knowledge and skill throughout engaging projects that around challenges and problems they may face in the real world. Okay. Okay, so today we're going to work with the reading number 2 that is about the task-based learning. And the task-based learning is an approach to language learning where learners are given interactive tasks to complete. In order to do this, they need to communicate when the task is complete, and then the teacher discusses the language used. Okay, so for this part of the activity lesson, let me share with you the first video for the class. Okay, so wait some seconds.
Do you tend to always use the same approaches when you teach? Would you like to add some variety to your lessons? I'm Andrea for What is EOT, and in today's video we will define task-based learning, walk you through the stages of the lesson and give you some classroom tips for you to make your lessons even more exciting. Let's go! Task-based learning is an approach to teaching in which learning takes place through the completion of meaningful tasks that resemble real life. In task-based learning, or TBL, learners can be asked to perform tasks such as creating a marketing campaign, making a YouTube video, or writing a film review and posting it online. Tasks in task-based learning should have a very clear purpose because this will help students focus on the meaning and the ideas that they are conveying and not so much on the form of the language that they are using to perform the task. And another important aspect of task-based learning is that all tasks should have a measurable outcome. What does that mean? It means that if they are making a YouTube video at the end of the lesson, they should have a YouTube video ready to share with their peers and the teacher. But to use TBL successfully, only assigning tasks to students is not enough. A TBL lesson is usually broken down into different stages, and the stages aim at helping students perform the tasks more confidently. The first stage is the pre-task. This is when the teacher raises students' interest in the topic and help them prepare to perform the task. In the preparation stage, students can focus on the content and the language that they will need to perform the task. However, as communication is the main aim in task-based learning, the language preparation should not focus on discrete items of the language, but rather a more holistic view of the language that they're gonna need in order to perform the task successfully. For example, the YouTube video that we are preparing for this lesson, students can, in the preparation stage, watch some YouTube videos and come up with a list of characteristics of what makes a video successful. After the preparation stage, it's time for students to actually perform the task. But instead of just saying, now let's make a YouTube video, you can break the task down into smaller parts. For example, first, students can decide on the topic that they'd like to talk about. They can brainstorm and select the ideas that they'd like to include. They can outline and write down a script if they want to. They can also decide on roles. For example, who's going to be the director, who's going to be the presenter of the video. They can rehearse, and then finally, they make the video and share it with their peers. After the task is over, it's time to evaluate and assess the students' work and give them feedback. But feedback should not only be given on the linguistic performance of the students during the task, but also the completion of the task as a whole. They can compare their YouTube videos with their peers and with other videos that are available online. At this point, you're probably wondering, what is the teacher's role throughout this process? While the students are performing the task, it is the teacher's responsibility to monitor, provide support, and collect information that might be useful in feedback, which is given in the post-task phase. Then the teacher can carry out error correction, language expansion, and work on language that emerged while students were performing the task. Tip number 1. Tasks in TBL need to trigger genuine communication, so make sure that the tasks you provide your students are similar to real-life situations. For example, talking about global warming is not a task, but designing a plan to reduce carbon emissions at the workplace is. Tip number 2. Remember that going over the whole TBL lesson cycle takes time, so plan the appropriate amount of time for students to prepare for the task, for them to do activities that will help them perform the task better, and save enough time at the end to give them feedback. Tip number 3. Make sure you anticipate problems related to content and language before you teach a TBL lesson, because this will help you be better prepared to give your students feedback at the end of the lesson in the post-task phase. We hope you liked this video and that it helps you prepare even more successful lessons. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Okay, so the TK learning or the TBL is an approach to language learning where students are given interactive tasks to complete. And the test can provide organizational structure for the communicative approach because they provide a meaningful communication and the opportunity to acquire vocabulary by using the language in real settings or the real world. You can find important information about the task case approach, and the task-based approach or lessons, the teacher doesn't predetermine what grammar test will be studied. So this is that grammar, right? And the lesson is paced around the completion of a task, and the grammar or vocabulary studied is determined by that. But what happens as the students complete it? And the lesson follows certain stages or certain steps. So the first one is about the pre-task. The teacher introduces the topic and gives the students clear instructions on what they will have to do to complete the task. And the pre-task stage can also often include playing a recording of people doing the task. And this gives the students a clear model of what will be expected of them. And the students can take notes and spend time prepare for the task. Number 2, task. The students complete a task in pairs or groups using the language resource that they have as a teacher monitors and authors and coders. The post task. Students prepare a short report to tell the class what happened during their class or their task, and they can practice what they are going to say in their group. So meanwhile, the teacher is available for the students to ask for advice to clear up any language or any questions they may have. Number 4, the report. Students will report back to the class orally or read the written report. So the teacher chooses the order of when students will present their reports and may give the students some quick feedback on the content. And the stage at that the teacher may also play a recording or others doing the same task for the students to compare. Number five, the analysis. So the teacher then highlights relevant parts from the text or the recording for the students to analyze. Um, they may ask the students to notice interest featuring within the context. And the teacher can also highlight the language that the students use during the report phase or analyze. Number six, practice. So finally, the teacher selects language areas to practice based upon the needs of the students and what emerged for the text and report phases. So the students then to practice activities to increase their confidence and make note on a useful language. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, teacher. I have a question. Why I don't know. I can read the information. Maybe you don't share the slide. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is the information that you can find in the reading. Remember, this is the reading number 2. Okay? Test-based learning. So you can find all this information in the platform. So I try to read, and then when I finish to read all the information that you can find in the platform, I try to explain more about it and mention another important aspect about this topic. Okay? So you can find another important information about the advantages and why the TBO is important. So in this case, you can find students that the students solve tasks that are relevant and interesting to them. So to solve the task, they need to use the target language. They are learning to communicate with their peers, and they use authentic language instead of answering grammar or vocabulary questions. And the other case is about the test-based learning. When the test-based learning is especially conducive to group learning, and the learning in languages at group is also a very important contributor to effective retention, or in this case, collaborating with others, students, and becoming confident with the language within a group in a key step in acquiring the language. And the other case, the students understand of the language and depends because the realistic context in which they are learning the language is relevant to the other personal life. And the last one, in addition to the benefits for students, solid knowledge of these methods will also increase your job perspective of a teacher or as a teacher. You can find another important information that is about the project-based learning and task-based learning, so you can find some important aspect about the both readings. So, it's important to mention why is a task-based learning important. Okay, so the students in this case solve the tasks that are relevant and interesting to them, as you know. And the learning or the TBL is especially conducive to group learning. So in this case, the students' understanding of the language also depends because the realistic context in which they are learning and the language is relevant, okay? So in addition to the benefit for the students, the solid knowledge of this method will also increase your job and your knowledge prospect as a teacher in this case, right? And you can find so if you have the opportunity to put in practice this method in your classroom, you can observe all the differences between the, for example, the project-based learning and the task-based learning, and you can find and use the best way or the way that you think that is better for your students. Okay, so what is a task-based method? So, oh wait. I have another information here. This is important. What is a task versus an activity? So it sounds similar, but you can find some similarities and some difference between the both terms. So the task-based learning uses a lesson structure that incorporates different activities to solve a task. So the task can span the length of an entire lesson, or if it's project-based learning, it can take up several lessons to complete. So the test is a big, uh, how to say this, assignment that the students are trying to complete or trying to solve. And the activities are individual step or exercise they take to achieve the task. So you can use this as an example or try to apply in your classroom that creating a presentation. If your students have to talk about whatever topic that you develop in your classroom, you can use this technique or method to develop this knowledge. You can create a presentation or create a cardboard about the topic that they have to develop. And you can relate the connection or you can establish a connection between the information that they have to put in the cardboard and the information that they have to present in front of your classmates. So you have to relate or make this connection between this, okay? Making a video or short movie. So you can relate the knowledge throughout the videos or movies. So if you have elementary students, most of the students learn throughout the music or throughout the movement. So you can put in practice this and maybe you can obtain some different results, okay? Writing a piece of text, such as newsletter, article. So maybe you can use this kind of techniques or methods in the media level or the pre-media level with this kind of a student that they have the opportunity to write and analyze more than the elementary students. Acting out as kids and creating an original game that includes writing down the game rules, playing the game, and evaluating the game. So you can put in practice different methods or methodologies or different activities in your classroom with the main point that is catch the attention of your students, that they have to know that they have to complete all the activities and try to obtain the best result from this activity, okay? So if you want to play with your students, you can do it. And they have to complete the activity or the game to try to find or obtain the best result about it, okay? Working out the solution to practical problems, such as planning an upcoming trip or getting missing information like working out who start a rumor at school. And participating in a group debate or discussion like arguing for a favorite competition in a TV show. So you can put all of this, all this important activities inside your classroom and try to prove which one is the best for your classmates, for your students, sorry, and what you can do with this, okay? What is a task-based activity? So the activity is a procedure in which a student has to use a target language in order to achieve a specific outcome. In the case of the TBL, activities reflect a real life situation so that the students can see that the lesson is relevant to their own life. And one of the main task-based learning advantages is that the activities allow students to use the language they know freely, okay? And explorative. So you can find different errors, sorry, or the mistakes can be done at the end of the different lessons. So in this case, it's necessary, but not during the activity. So you can encourage this fluency and try to motivate all the students to use the language. So it's the main idea, right? For example, you can also use a task-based learning or language teaching and task-based activities in the online classroom. So if you have an online classroom. And you can have students submit their work and you can share the results. So you can motivate your students to try to complete all the activities if you have an online classroom or in physical classroom, okay? How can you apply the task-based approach to your teaching? So as an English teacher, if you have the opportunity or as a teacher, you will not get around the boring stuff, such as grammar drills and vocabulary words. So you also have to keep in mind that your students need to practice all four skills writing, reading, speaking, and listening. Okay, so you have to simulate this oral skills, your skills. However, the keeping the drills and language exercise to a necessary minimum and including more task-based learning in your curriculum can help students and use the target language immediately and retain words and grammar points more effectively. So you can take different activities or if you want to teach with music or if you want to teach with vocabulary, you can implement this in your classroom at the moment to develop whatever topic that you want, okay? So in the physical classroom, as an example, with a group of 10 or 15 teenagers, okay, you can find or you can use different activities like the first one, the creating and warm up, some aspect that you can cover with this information, so you can find it. Okay, so the students are sitting and you can play some that's popular song and a minority student can, so as I said at the beginning, you can use a song to try to connect the information or the topic with activity and try to catch the attention of your students throughout this activity, okay? So identify and give instructions. Create your own music theater in groups of 4 or 5 students using a song of your choice. So everybody has to have a role from managing to the camera to coming up. So if you have the opportunity to put in practice this kind of activities. Do the task. Let the students gather in groups and start planning their video. So it's all the process that you have to take to make an activity and you can involve your students in this process, okay? In the case of what else? And online classroom. So the reading and warm up, for example, fill all out each student's name and show each of the accord with a different word and have each student read their word out loud. So you can use at the beginning of your class. Assign the task and given your instructions. So create a short story that includes all the words I give you just now. So you can decide the order and the words that they have to use. Do the task with the students and take notes about your students, okay? If communication between them comes to stand still, you can provide some support by asking questions. So if you're not comfortable with the test-based learning or language teaching, just chat or don't let that discourse go. So you have to try to relate with information. Maybe it can help you to develop work or activities in your class. And maybe you can obtain the main objective of your class, that is to catch attention and try to find the best way to teach, okay? So with this information, I consider that you can solve the activity for today. So remember, you can solve this question with the information that you can find in the platform, okay? So let me share with you. Okay, so you have to answer these questions and you can find all the information that you need to solve this in the platform, in the reading number 2, model number 4, okay? So let me know when you're ready. If you have the opportunity to read and answer with your own words, great, okay? Let me know.
Okay, teacher. Okay, teacher, I'm ready. The first question, what is a task-based learning? Maybe I can say that it's approach to language learning where students are given interactive or that's to complete. Yeah. Task-based approach is a lesson that the teacher doesn't predetermine what grammar then will be studied.
Okay.
Pre-task is the teacher introduce the topic and give the student clear instruction and what they will have to do and complete the task. And a task is maybe when the student complete the task in a pair or group using a language research. Maybe they have the teacher is a monitor and after in some time encourage the student to finish the task. Okay.
Okay.
Post-that is maybe a short report to that the class happening during their tasks.
Yeah.
Report, yes, report. And that's part the student, maybe the student then report back to the class orally or read the writings.
Yeah.
Analyze maybe the teacher then some ideas are relevant part from the text on the recording for the student to analyze.
Yeah.
A practice maybe is when the teacher selects a language to practice with the student. I guess. And that's what I confused.
Okay.
Advantage. Advantage maybe that the students are free of language control.
Yeah.
A student spend a lot of time communication, or a student have a much more wide exposure to a wide range of phrase.
Yeah.
Why TBL is important? TBL is important. Why? No, sir, because the students solving tasks that are relevant and interesting to them.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, Jenny, thank you so much. Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, teacher.
Tenía tiempo y no la veía. No, bueno, no la veo, la escucho. Okay. Okay, so remember that you can find some important aspects inside the reading, but the definition, the test-based approach, synthesis of TBL, what TBL is important, project-based learning and task-based learning, and some references if you want to improve the information that you can find in the reading, or if you want to improve your knowledge, you can use this kind of reference to find information. Okay. So let me share with you the last video for the class, and then you can present your short summaries about the information that you received here today, okay? So wait me some seconds. Okay.
The topic is planning a party. This topic can be used with a wide range in ages and levels with adjustments. The structure of the video follows 4 stages: the pre-task, task preparation, during task, and post-task. Let's get started. Step 1 is the pre-task. The pre-task stage should mentally and linguistically prepare your students for the upcoming task ahead. There are many ways to do this. In this demo, I show you 3 ideas.
Okay, what makes a good party? Jorge? Okay, food.
Idea number 1 would be the use of brainstorming with a word web.
Okay, in your groups, I want you to keep going, okay? Keep going. What do you think? What are some things that make a good party?
Brainstorm idea number 2 would be the use of pictures and/or discussion questions.
Okay, let's take a look at picture number 1. What are they doing? Good, all right? They are ordering, all right? They're ordering food for the party. Good. Another one.
And perhaps the most common activity would be idea number 3, having your students read or listen to a model text that mimics the language they will use in the task ahead.
Look at the picture of the people. What do you think we're going to listen to? Yes, all right, we're going to listen to them plan a surprise party. Good, good.
In stage 2, you will prepare your students to be able to complete the upcoming task on their own. In order to do this, you need to give very clear directions. I commonly give each group one piece of paper with a step-by-step handout or a checklist for them to follow.
First, I want everyone to get into groups of 3. All right, first get into your groups. You're going to follow the handout. And then after, give us maybe 10-15 minutes. Okay, you're going to present your party idea to the class. Are you guys excited? All right, it's going to be fun. Let's get started.
In this important stage, students begin to independently build their task. Group collaboration and creativity take hold, and generally it's the fun and exciting part of the task. I quietly circulate around the room and make note of any weak or strong language features on a clipboard. Make sure that you encourage use of the target language. After this, the students will then act or present out their tasks. It's the point where I hope they proudly display their creativity and stretch their language abilities in doing so. As a teacher, I continue to remain low-key and continue to quietly take notes on the language being used. It's a fluency activity, so I don't commonly interrupt unless asked for help. If set up well, the stage is fun and engaging for everyone. When I'm done, my clipboard is often covered. To keep me organized, I take notes into categories. Only the most important language features get addressed. Always point out both strong and weak language features. To complete the activity, I address those key language features on the board with the class, and we reflect on the language we've learned through completing the task. This concludes my demo video. Please note there are many ways to execute task-based learning. I encourage you to explore other interpretations and find what
Okay. Okay, so it's important to know that you have to complete some assignments in the platform, and you can find all the tests in the platform too, okay? So if you have any problem or any question or any doubt with the platform or with the assignments or with the test, you can put in the consultation forums, okay? ¿Por qué? Porque he estado viendo, recuerden que ya estamos prácticamente a pocas clases de acabar el curso. Y las tareas, pues no sé si tienen algún problema con las tareas. Jenny, Cintia.
No, teacher, particularmente no, lo mío ha sido tiempo.
Ok, esto yo lo puedo comprender, pero sí, esto sería bueno que empecemos a entregar tareas porque si revisaron, son 2 tareas por cada módulo. Entonces ya doblamos la cantidad de tareas y pues ya nos queda poco tiempo. Entonces, para que no se nos junte todo, estemos como un choricito relleno, entonces vamos a tratar de sacar tiempo. Cintia, ¿tú tienes algún problema con las actividades? Con las pruebas, ya las pruebas están disponibles. Pueden hacer las pruebas. Cintia.
Teacher, lo mío es igual que Jenny, es el mismo.
Okay, so remember, if you have any doubt or any question, please put in the forum of consultation. And with this information, I consider that is all for today. Have a good weekend, a good week, sorry. Ya estoy pensando que es fin de semana. Okay, have a good week and see you in the next class. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Bye.
Profe, así terminamos la sesión. Espero que todo esté bien, profe. Saludos, hasta mañana.
Bye.